Green, I think, has done a great job in kind of pioneering a path and not losing the sacral. And, there's a lovely little kind of Easter egg, as they call it, in Lancelin Green, because he was a friend of Lewis's and a disciple of Lewis's. And when he talks about Merlin, as it were, passing into the earth, he lists all the possible places that he might be. And he just says, or perhaps he's lying under Bragdon Wood. And of course, Bragdon Wood is where he's found in that hideous strength. I mean, it's completely.
Oh, I didn't. I never knew that. I wonder if our teachers.
So if you've read that hideous strength, you're really excited. But if you've read Roger Lancelin Green and you can still remember, oh my goodness, Bragdon Wood, it's going to be Merlin,
I had no idea.
So Green has been very important to me. Obviously, I've used the medieval sources as well, and I put in things that aren't in Green, but as a way of finding through. I'm talking about your 5th graders and your 6th graders and things. I mean, there's a little issue about the order in which you do things here. So, which is kind of parallel with the Narnia things in some ways. If you take the whole Narniad, in a sense, although he didn't know he was going to write the other ones, perhaps, following Aristotle, you could say Lewis begins in medias res. He tells you the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is, of course, the heart and centre of it, because it's the redemption story.
That's right.
It's the atonement and redemption. But eventually, he decides to give you a creation story, and he does The Magician's Nephew, and he does a. So I love the little debates about which order to read in it. Now, I'm of the school of thought that says you need to know who Aslan is and what he's done for Edmund and for everyone in Narnia. And when you know that, then the account of his creation and his gift of freedom to the animals is all the more poignant. Mm-hmm. And you've also fallen in love with Narnia during The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and you've seen it redeemed. So you want to know about its creation. So that's the way it works. But equally, you can decide, I want to begin at the beginning and go to the end. Now, in this case, I too have begun in medias res.
Right.
I've begun with the Grail because I think the Grail is the heart of the matter. And in a sense, I think it's in light of the Grail that you see the importance of everything else. Why should we care about Camelot in the first place, etc.? So then this book, as it were, is followed by 2 prequels. So the next one is The Coming of Arthur. And then the one after that will be The Days of the Round Table.
Okay,
and
that'll be all the quests.
That's all the quests. That gets up to where we are here.
Right.
And then the final one will be The Passing of Arthur. Now, my hope is, particularly for people who are familiar with this material, that they'll come with me to the Grail Castle and see the redemption of the wasteland and the coming of the Grail Knight, so that when I tell them in The Coming of Arthur the story of the dollar a stroke as it originally happened, they'll kind of, I mean, it's like when I remember when I was training for the priesthood, we had to read these really. It was in the last gasp of the 80s, and this dreadful demythologizing literary, so-called historical criticism of the Gospels. And then there's the lofty tone these people took. So I was reading a commentary on Luke, and the guy says about the Transfiguration, he says, this is clearly a misplaced resurrection narrative. As though Luke had kind of made a minor error with copying and pasting, But anyway, nevertheless, there was real insight. I thought, oh my goodness, it is a resurrection narrative in some sense. But is it not misplaced? Like, they see him on the Mount of Transfiguration and, the veil is lifted, if you like, because they're about to go down into the kind of fog and darkness and violence of Jerusalem. Yeah. And they're going to see the one whom they've seen resplendent on the mountain, richly humiliated and crucified like a slave. And everybody will try to tell them that's all he ever was. Like, this is just a disgusting, shameful, blasphemous person. And now we've demonstrated it. So they need to know what they saw. It's not misplaced at all. He went to the cross for the joy that was set before him. So in a sense, I'm giving you the Mount of the Transfiguration here.
Yes.
Before we get into both the good and the bad of the rest of the story.